Do I need to apply this year or should I wait another year? Because you still have some prerequisites that you need to take. When is the best time to apply to PT school? Is it after you completed your bachelor's and your prerequisites and you have all of that done? But what if I told you that you can actually apply before you even get your bachelor's degree, before you even finish all your prerequisites? How is that possible? Should you take a gap year? We're going to talk about all of that in this video. Lego. What's up everyone? My name is Dr. Justin Lee, physical therapist. I'm a PT admission expert and I help students get accepted into physical therapy school the first time. So I think what's really important, we're going to jump right in to consider four big things, four factors to consider when you should figure out the timeline of when you should apply. So the four things that you should think about are number one, when the application deadline is. Number two, when does the school actually start? Number three, is it rolling admissions? And then number four, when is the latest you can have your requirements submitted? And requirements meaning like your bachelor's, your prerequisites, your GRE, all that stuff. So make sure that whatever program you're applying to, you have those four things in mind because that's going to help you strategize as far as if you should rush in and apply this year in 2023, or maybe you should take a gap year. Because I think it's fair to say that you're trying to get in and start school as soon as possible, right? Those of you who are doing your bachelor's degree right now, you're trying to graduate probably May this year, and you're trying to start PT school applying without wasting any time. So these are some things that you have to definitely consider in order to make sure you have all your ducks in a row so that you can have a smooth transition process, not waste time, and start PT school right away. So here's a scenario, and this probably will relate to you for most of you who are watching. And I'm gonna go through three different programs and go through these four things to consider. Okay, so this is a scenario. You're a student right now at a university and you're gonna graduate in 2023, May of 2023, or the end of spring term, right? So it's May, June, July, whatever it is, and you're gonna graduate and you're gonna get your bachelor's degree. We know that PT CAS opens around July, right? Every year. So you're thinking, do I need to apply this year or should I wait another year? Because, check this out, you still have some prerequisites that you need to take. Let's consider this Physics 1 and Physics 2. Now we know that Physics 1 and Physics 2 is a back-to-back course and you cannot take this at the same time. Because what? You gotta finish Physics 1 first and then you move on to Physics 2. Meaning, Physics 1 usually is offered in the fall, so you have to wait until fall to take Physics 1. And then you have to take Physics 2 in spring because that's just how it works. So you get your bachelor's in May, but you have to wait till fall and spring to take Physics 1 and Physics 2 of 2024. And then you'll officially be done with all your stuff. Is this you? If it is, I really would appreciate a like. Let me know in the comments, hey, this is exactly me. Or if your situation is a little different, I'd love to hear in the comment section. But okay, so in this specific scenario, now you're thinking, okay, I'm not gonna have all my prerequisites finished. Should I apply this year or should I wait? Will I even be considered? So let's actually look in and figure that out. So I picked three random schools, well, not really random, but three different schools that we need to look at and kind of read in between the lines and look deep inside the frequently asked questions of each program because they're gonna tell you exactly if you can or cannot apply. So our first one, I picked USC, University of Southern California, right? So when you look at their start date, they usually start around August, right? In this case, it's gonna be August 2024. Their deadline is gonna be in December of 2023 this year, right? Are they rolling admissions? Yes, they are. Now, how many prerequisites can you have in outstanding prerequisites in order to apply? So if you look at their frequently asked questions, and this is actually what I'd recommend for you, is to type in the school's program name and then type in admissions, and then usually you have to kind of read through the lines and find this information. So One of their frequently asked questions says, do all the prerequisite courses need to be completed before applying in December? No, applicants can submit an application including in-progress courses and still be considered for the current admission cycle. However, all prerequisites must be completed prior to entering the program in August of 2024. Okay, so in this specific scenario, you're going to be done with all your prerequisites by the end of spring term 2024. So technically, USC is good to go. Okay, next, let's move down the list. Wingate University, all right, they start in January 2025 and their deadline is April 2024. So this program is actually kind of pushes their cohort later. So even though you're applying this year in 2023, the deadline is not going to be until 2024 and you're actually going to start in 2025. So this I think is pretty self-explanatory, but I did look into their list and they said for applicants to be eligible for consideration, applicants must be within 2 outstanding prerequisites. So before you actually apply, you need to have at least 2 or only up to 2 prerequisites that are in progress in order to be considered. Now lastly, let's look at the third university, Azusa Pacific University. Now they're a little bit different because they start in the spring, not in the fall. But Azusa Pacific will start in January 2024. Their deadline is going to be in October 2023, this year, right? They are rolling, yes, they are rolling admissions. And they said that all prerequisites must be completed by the end of the fall before the program starts. So they're going to start in January 2024, right? That means in the fall of this year in 2023, all your prerequisites have to be completed. So in this specific scenario, you're graduating in 2023 in May, but you still are not going to be done until 2024 spring term. So that means you cannot apply to APU this year, and you're going to have to wait an additional year. Do you see that? So it's really important to consider these 4 factors in order to figure out if it's actually a good idea to apply this year, if you're eligible, if you're going to rush things, or if you actually have to wait a whole nother year. So this is what I'd recommend. I'd recommend that you make a list of your top 10 programs and go through this list and figure out those 4 factors that I mentioned here in this video. And then think about and then try to figure out, okay, how many prerequisites can I have or need? And do the same thing with the GRE. Do I need completed? Is it going to be before the actual start date? Is it going to be, can I have that all the way until a certain time? What's the scenario? So figure that out. Last little tidbit that I do want to add, I get a lot of questions. Justin, do I take a gap year or not? And I think it depends on the specific scenario, whether you've been in school all throughout your life and have not taken a break, or maybe you kind of messed around like I did and took several years off and then finally got really serious and then started to go back to school and then just go straight into it. Some students just like to go all the way through without taking any breaks, and you're super young going into the program. It really depends on what you need. Based on my scenario, because I messed around in the beginning, my mindset was like, let's go all the way through. I'm ready. But some students, they're burnt out by this point. And just because it's the next step, they just go into it, but their mindset, their mental health is going into PT school in a burnt out state already. So it really depends on your own personal timeline, whether you want to just go right into it or you want to take a gap year. Now in 2023, if you're going to apply this upcoming year, I do have a group coaching cohort available and coming up. The enrollment period is open and I encourage you to apply early and save your spot. The thing is, the earlier you apply to my program, the cheaper it is. But as time goes on, it does get a little bit more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So I really encourage you to check that out. In this group coaching program, we're going to talk all about the secrets of the application, my strategy of how students get accepted into PT school, and the essay, and the interview process, and so much more. You're going to get a ton of value. I do have more information in the link below on how to register. Please make sure you get into this earlier rather than later because limited space is available. Hey y'all, I really am interested in your specific scenario. What do you like? Do you have questions? Should you apply this year? Should you wait? Where are you at? I'd love to hear from you and love to give you some feedback. Please let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great one, you guys.